So today's concept is on regular expressions. What is the use of regular expressions? It's actually for checking patterns in an input. Say while you're registering your password, there's always an rule, right? Your password should contain at least one uppercase, one lowercase, one digit. Password should be minimum some characters in length. So such kind of validations how you can perform. For that we'll use regular expressions. Say for instance, if I am registering my password here, if I just enter my name Satish, it is not containing a special character, no digits are there, no uppercase. So if I submit, invalid password. But if I include some digits, still it says invalid password because I'm not having a special character. Maybe I'll have a special character too. Now if I submit, still it's invalid because there is no uppercase. So let's have an uppercase letter. When I submit, now it becomes a valid password. So there is a pattern matching happening here. It's able to identify whether we are satisfying that criteria. And one more thing, minimum how many digits it should be. Say I have given 8 digits to be the minimum number of digits required for this password. So if I have anything less than 8 digits like this, it will again go to invalid password. So minimum length requirement is there. Can a password have spaces? Can I give space? Yes. So when you have spaces, it will say invalid password. So spaces are not allowed. So you should find whether password has spaces. If you don't have all these things, if it satisfies all the criteria, then we say it's a valid password. So this is a standard. You take any application written in any language, regular expression is a part of that language. You go to PHP, you take ASP, you take JSP, even with HTML. So you're going to use regular expression concepts with any language. So whatever you are learning here is applicable for any other languages too. So let's take a look at the code. What is that is really checking this pattern? So you're seeing here, you're seeing some expression here. So that is the regular expression. So we are using this expression to check whether a password satisfies that expression. So by writing this expression, we'll be able to make all these checks. So it's just a few lines. See, this is all. This is the function that is performing all those checks, whether I have a digit, uppercase letter, lowercase letter, all these things. But before even going into this kind of an expression, we should understand what is question mark equal to, what is dot, what is a star, what is slash d. So like that, you have some brackets here. What is the use of brackets? Why are you giving things inside a bracket? And you also have this parenthesis, curly brackets, some digits, comma. So what is the use of every individual component here? We'll understand that. Then we'll come finally to this password validation thing. So password validation is a standard place wherein we use regular expressions. Where are other places where we can use regular expressions? You can think of phone number validations. Say whenever you are asked to enter your mobile number, there will be a country code, say 91, followed by exactly 10 digits. Say if somebody is entering the wrong country code for India and then they are entering 11 or 12 digits or 3 digits of mobile number, then we can say it's invalid. Likewise, whenever people are entering their email IDs, when they don't have an at symbol or you can have your own things to capture that. Any other places? Registration number, username. See, when you are entering your username, can you give a username starting with a digit? You can never give a username. So when a user tries to enter a username with a digit, you can say it's an error. So you can enforce such rules. So there are many places. It depends on your application needs. One of the most popular places where we use is for password validation. So let's start with this. Let's go one by one. We have a lot of things to learn here. So let me delete all these things. We'll come back to this at the end. So let's create a page, HTML page, and what is the concept for this class? This is on regular expression in JavaScript, and title we can give regular expression tutorial. And what we'll do is we'll have a form. See, the input we are getting is through a form. Whenever you're getting input, you just have a form. Action, we are not having any server side script. So we'll give hash. And I told you the use of method equals to post. So we are not going to use this actually, but still we'll make it a habit of writing that. On submit is the event. When I submit this form, some function should return true or false, right? So that is return validate. This function will be used for validating the input. If it's password, it'll check the password. And we'll have a label here. Label, this can be for any input text. So I'll say enter the text, that is the label. And input type text, we'll get the input from the user. Name is required. I call this name to be itext, ID, itext. Some name and ID field, we say input is required. Label, input type text, then input type submit. Submit will have value to be submit. That's it. Now you're seeing this message, right? Valid password or invalid password. So to populate that message, I need a div. So inside this div, I'll be populating the message. So I'll give this ID to be message. So you can populate the error or the message to the user in any means, but normally I use an division and I populate that using the inner HTML. Okay, so this is what is our, what is that? That is the form we have created. The user will input the text here. Next, what we'll do is we'll go in for the script. We'll have this JavaScript code. So what is that function that will validate? That is the function validate, right? This is the function that will validate this input text. So we're going to use regular expressions within this function to validate the text entered by the user. How will you capture whatever value entered in the text box inside JavaScript? We can use document dot get element by ID. So the text box ID is itext dot value. So that's how you get the value entered by the user in the text box. And I can say let some in text is equal to. So the user is entering some text which I'm capturing inside my JavaScript function. Very simple. Next comes our pattern. See, what regular expression is all about is defining a pattern and checking whether that pattern is present inside that text. So we can define the pattern using a variable. So I'll call this regular expression, and you have to give this pattern. You have to put 2/ and within this you have to give the pattern. See, I'm searching for Satish inside my input. Say the user is entering some text. What I want to search is whether the sequence of characters in the same order, same case appears in the input text. Is Satish present anywhere in the input text? So this is the pattern I'm defining. And how I can check is I can go with string dot match. The string that is coming in is in text, that is the string. The function is match, and then I'll pass the regular expression to this argument. So this will take the string and check whether this pattern is present within that string. What will be returned is that pattern itself. Say if Satish is present, what will be returned? Satish itself will be returned. So let's say that result is equal to in text dot match. If the user is entering Satish teaches Java, what will be returned here is the pattern that is matching. Satish will be returned as the result. If it is not matching, result will be null. So we can very well check if result not equal to null. If result is not equal to null, we can very well say we can get this message, that is this div ID with message, right? ID with message. So document dot get element by ID. So we'll access this division with the ID message, and then we'll populate the inner HTML to contain the result. So we'll just throw the result to the user. What it means when result is not null, some matches occurred that has been returned. I'll return false here. We all know why we are returning false. Actually, if the match occurs, it's a valid thing, so it can return true. But since we want the output to be on the screen, we're not having any server-side script. Intentionally, I'm returning false here. If the output is, if the match is returning a null, no match is found, right? So how can you find that? Document dot get element by ID. You again access the division and populate the inner HTML with some text saying no match found. Did you all get this? Even when a match is not found, I'll return false. It's like return false always. Return false. When you're having server-side script, when it's a valid pattern match, you can return a true and then perform certain things on the server end. But here we don't have any server-side script, so I'm just returning false. So now what is going to happen? Let's take a look at the output. Then you will understand this. Say the user enters Satish. It's case sensitive. Satish, like that. If I submit, Satish is getting returned. So whatever that is matching is getting returned. That is the output. So result is getting Satish, and then we are populating the result to the inner HTML. So there is a pattern match here. If there is no match, if I enter Ram, there is no match here, then what will happen? No match found. So if there is a match, it will not be null. Result will not be null. So we populate that to the inner HTML. If there is a null return, we will say no match found. And this is what case sensitive. Like if I give SATISH, if I give it in caps, what will happen is, yeah, it is found. If I give it in lowercase, SATISH, what will happen? No match found. So there is some case sensitive search happening here. So how you can make it case insensitive is, after this slash you can give an I. So now it says search for Satish but ignore the case. Now let's search for Satish without the worrying about the case. It's going to perform that. So are you all clear with the first steps with respect to regular expressions? First you have to define a pattern and then you have to search it within the string. See, we have to give the pattern. We are using this particular function called match. String dot match. The input string dot match the regular expression. So if that regular expression pattern is part of the string, that match, wherever that pattern matches, will be returned to the result. And the result is populated to the inner HTML. That's the kind of, are you clear with this? So now we have ignored the case. What happens if I have Satish, Satish and Satish here? 3 times I give my name, like, will it return 3 times Satish or just Satish once? So what's happening here is when you have just Satish, the pattern and an I, what will happen is it will just match the first occurrence. So only one time Satish is going to be returned here. So that's what is the output. If I want to match it in every place, return all the 3 words, then what is that I have to give is I have to give a G. G in the sense that is you match all the occurrences of Satish, ignore the case within the string, return the result. So now when I give a G and then if I enter Satish, Satish and Satish, submit. So there's a difference between G and the absence of G. G is you search, you don't stop with the first match, you search the entire string. Wherever the match occurs, you just return it to the result. So that is the use of this G, and you know why we are using I, to ignore the case. Were you all able to execute this? Let's take a look at a deviation to this pattern, or else we'll take a look at the use of brackets with respect to patterns. So what is the use of brackets? Let me give SRM. So what it means here is the starting character can be S, or it can be an R, or it can be an M. So any one of these 3 characters can be the starting character followed by ATISH. So it will search for this pattern. What is the pattern is going to search? Whether it is an S or an M. From now on, we are just going to check whether it's a true or false. We don't want the entire results to be returned or anything like that. So for that, we'll change this method we are using here. I'm just going to go with a Boolean method. So for this, the method that we are going to use here is, it's going to be regular expression. Regular expression that we are defining dot test. It's a Boolean method, and then the input text. So this will take the regular expression, test it on this input. If the pattern is there, it will return a true, or else it will return a false. Earlier, whatever match we were having, using dot match, we are returning that match. Now I am just using a Boolean method to say whether it passes or fails. So this is the Boolean method. So what result is going to contain is true or false. So you can go with if result and do things. To make it even shorter, what we can do is we can take this method, put it directly inside the if statement, and this is like, if the expression is present within the string, it returns a true. So what we can do to our inner result is we can say text qualifies. If it returns a false, if that expression is not present in the input text, it returns a false. So we can say text disqualifies, something like that. From now on, we'll check whether the condition passed or failed. I don't want the entire array of results to be coming in. We don't need that. So very simple. We have defined this pattern. What is this pattern? We are using brackets here, S or M. So it will be searching for ATISH, and the starting character can be S, or it can be an R, or it can be an M. So let's take a look at this output. We'll see what is the output here. Let me refresh this page. See, if I enter Satish, text qualifies. If I enter RATISH, text qualifies. S, R, and M, any one of these characters is allowed. MATISH, text qualifies. What will not qualify is anything other than S, R, and M. DATISH, if I enter, text disqualifies. So what it's going to take is, it's going to search for this pattern, but then the first three characters can be any one of these characters in the parenthesis. Very simple function change. We have used dot test here to check whether it's true or false, and then we are passing this regular expression. Are you clear with this? See, you can also have something like this. You can have this caret symbol, like what it means is it will search for a pattern. It will return true only when the text, when this is not starting with S, R, or M. It's the opposite. Say if I enter DATISH, it will return a true because it's not starting with S, R, or M. So you can just reverse this by using this symbol. So let's now take a look at this. Let's refresh this. If I enter Satish, text disqualifies. I don't want the particular pattern to start with S, or M. If I enter RATISH, it will be text disqualifies. But if I enter anything other than S, R, or M, DATISH, text qualifies. Got it? So what is this symbol here? This caret symbol, it says you search for this pattern ATISH that starts with anything other than S or an M. Very simple. Have you all achieved this? Tested this? Small change, nothing much. I told you from now on only the regular expression is going to change. See, what about this? Let's say A to Z. If you are interested in your own name, you can give your own name here. I'm just giving my name. So, what is this A to Z here? See, I'm just giving A hyphen Z. So you can start this entire thing, anything starting from lowercase a to lowercase z, then it is acceptable. So it'll return a true. If I start with anything else, it'll return a false. Let's go to this output. Let's check. Say if I start with lowercase satish, text qualifies. If I start with the number 1 atish, what will happen? Disqualifies. So we are forcing, like, okay, the first character should be anything, a character between A to Z, lowercase. What happens if I start with uppercase satish? What will happen? Text disqualifies because we have given just A to Z and that is lowercase. If I want to include even uppercase, I can give A hyphen Z. Now it will accept lowercase a to z, uppercase a to z. So now let's take a look at the output. Satish, if I give, text qualifies. If I give a number, will it allow? Disqualifies. If I give small letters, lowercase, text qualifies. So here we are forcing the user. Maybe you can have a sequence of characters, but the first character should be only be a alphabet. If I want to allow a number to, or else I want the user to start this name with a number, you can very well give, what is that you can give is, you can give 0 to 9. 0 to 9 I am allowing. So now what will happen? You see, you can 180ish text will qualify. If he is just giving, other than a number, if he just enters a character, text disqualifies. So this 0 to 9 means digits 0 to 9, right? If I allow all these things, small a to z, capital A to z, 0 to 9, if I'm allowing all these things, so all these things are allowed. Say I can start with an S, I can start with a capital S, I can start with a number. But if I start with a special character, what will happen? Disqualifies. So this brackets, you all have understood the use of brackets, right? Now let's move to the next concept. The next concept is called meta characters in JavaScript. Let's say what is that? Meta characters in JavaScript. It's again a very simple concept. We'll take a look at meta characters. We'll be looking at characters. The very first character is a dot. What is the use of a dot? A dot is nothing but it will match any single character other than a new line character and a form feed character, I guess. So it will match any character. Say for instance, when I say dot, what it means is when I enter S, it will match it. Text qualifies. It can be a special character, it can be an underscore, it can be any character other than this new line character. That's what we are seeing. So dot, you can think of dot to be matching anything. If I enter a capital S, will it match it? Yes, it will match it. If I enter a digit, will it match it? Yes. So that's the meaning. Dot is a meta character. It's used for matching any character, any single character. Okay. We'll move to the next meta character, that is slash W, small case W. What slash W matches is, it matches A to Z, capital A to Z, 0 to 9, and then an underscore. All these things it will match. So you call this a meta character. How will you search for this? Say I give slash as lowercase w. Now in the input string it will search. If it is going to have a lowercase letter, it will return a true. If it's going to have a digit, it will return a true. If it's going to have an underscore, it will return a true. Let's check for this meta character here. Say, let me refresh the page. Say if I'm going to have a digit, text qualifies. If I'm going to have an underscore, underscore is also allowed, permitted, text qualifies. If I'm going to have an hash, text disqualifies. Because hash is a special character. It's not part of the word character slash w. Try this one too. Did you try this? We'll go to capital W. What is a capital W is going to find for you is anything other than these things. So if I give a capital W, it will return true when you have a special character, because the special character doesn't fall into this criteria. It's an opposite of a lowercase w. Say if I have an hash, it's going to return text qualifies. If I'm going to have an underscore here, what will be the output? Underscore is not part of capital W, right? So test disqualifies. A small lowercase w is A to Z, capital A to Z, 0 to 9 and underscore. A capital, an uppercase W is anything other than the lowercase w. Are you clear with this? Let's move on to the next thing, slash D. What is the use of slash D? It represents digits 0 to 9. That's the meta character representation. So if I give slash D, if your input is going to have a digit, it will give a true. So let's take a look at this. Say if I'm going to have 8, text qualifies. So it's going to search. If I give Satish 8, text qualifies. If it's not going to have a digit, text disqualifies. So this meta character slash D is for searching anything between 0 to 9. What is capital D? Is the opposite of lowercase d. Anything other than the digits will return a true. Say for instance, if I enter S, what it will return? Text qualifies. If I am going to enter 7, what will be the output here? Disqualifies, because it's a capital W. A capital D, I'm sorry. It's a capital D. So what is this lowercase d? Digit 0 to 9. Uppercase D is anything other than 0 to 9. Can we move forward? Let's take, now comes the important check, slash S. What is slash S? It'll check for white spaces. If your input is going to have a white space, it will return a true. Let's check this. If your input says Satish teaches, there is a white space here. So what it will return is dot test will return a true, text qualifies. So that's how you detect white spaces within your input. Usernames can't contain white spaces. Passwords can't contain white spaces. If there is no white space, what it will return? Text disqualifies. Because this one slash S will check for a white space. Capital slash S will be the opposite of this. When there is no white space, it will return a true. And there is a white space, it return a false. So when I have capital Satish teaches, what it will return? It will return true. So it's going to search for anything other than a white space. If you're just going to have a white space, it's going to disqualify it. Are you all clear with these meta characters? Dot slash W slash D slash S. Very important check whether you have white spaces in your input. The next thing is interesting, word boundary. Say that is slash B. You want to check any word in your input. Say for instance, I have Satish teaches Java. Is there any word that's starting with SAT? Yes, there is a word that's starting with SAT. So you can check that boundary by giving slash B SAT. It means take all the words, check if there is any word that's starting with this particular sequence of characters, SAT. So let's check this up. Let's give this input, Satish teaches Java. Now what will be the output? Text qualifies. Because there is this word starting with that condition, SAT. If there is no such word, what will happen? Text disqualifies. So you can give the word boundary, right? This is in the starting of the word. If I want to search in the ending of the word, is there any word that ends with ISH? So I'll give a slash B at the end now. Any word ending with an ISH here. Now what happens is Satish teaches Java. Now what happens is there is a word that's ending with ISH. So you're going to have text qualifies here. If you're not going to have any word that's ending with an ISH, text disqualifies. So what is that we are searching here is word boundary. When you want to search it in the end of the word, any word in the input, you give that particular sequence slash B at the end. If you want to search it in the beginning, what is that you give? Slash B and then the sequence followed by. There is a capital B. What it means is this should not be in the end, it should be in the center. It's the opposite of this small letter b. So when I give a capital B, for instance, when I give SCR, it will search for SCR in the middle. If it's present in the end, it will return a false. So let's check for this. Say when I enter JavaScript, where is SCR? It is in the middle. So it will say text qualifies. If SCR is in the end, what will happen? If SCR comes to the end, let's say, now it will say text disqualifies. It's the opposite of that's lowercase b. That's the capital B. If you want to check SCR in the start, it can be in the start or in the middle. I mean, it should not be in the start, it should be only in the middle. How you can check that? You can give a /b in the beginning. So it means SCR should not be in the start, it should be only in the middle. So script, if I give text disqualifies. But when I give JavaScript, text qualifies. Such a powerful tool, regular expressions. So a lot of meta characters we have seen. I think you all had a good insight into meta characters. Let me move on further. Let's take a look at a few more concepts. We'll take a look at, see, Satish teaches Java. Maybe I want to check whether this entire string ends with this particular sequence AVA. Satish teaches Java. In the end, you should have it an AVA. How we can check that? For that, we can have AVA dollar. Then it will check whether the input string in the end has an AVA. So let's check this one. So it's Satish teaches Java. So the end it will check text qualifies. Word boundary is for every word. Here this is in the entire string whether it ends with an AVA. So what is that we do? Dollar. Suppose you want to check whether the string starts with a SAT. Say for instance, it starts with an SAT, right? What is that? Got that? Is it like? So the entire string, let's check this. SATISH teaches Java. Text qualifies. So these two symbols will check in the entire input whether it starts with a sequence of characters. When I use a dollar, it will check whether the input ends with that sequence of characters. If you're going to check for every word, you'll use word boundaries, beginning and end. Okay. So a lot of things we have learned. Still a few more concepts before we go in for password validation. Are you clear with this? There's one more thing we'll learn now, that is we'll learn this concept, that is our input should exactly have X number of characters. It's on the length. Say mobile number should be exactly 10 digits. Yeah, we should have curly parentheses here. Or else it can start, say an input can start have so many digits in length and it can go up till Y digits, minimum X, maximum Y. The another variation to this is X comma. So you can start with say minimum 8 digits, maximum can be any number of digits. So that is the criteria. So we'll check how to perform this. Let's say we'll say dot. Any character we can match, but I want exactly how much? 10 characters. If it's not 10 characters, it will be a false. So dot is a meta character, we know it will match any characters. But how many number of characters I require like that? 10. So let's check this one. So you're going to give 10 is exact number. Let's check, refresh this. Let's enter 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Text qualifies. Exactly 10. If I have anything less than 10, text disqualifies. Mostly you can use this for your numbers, right? Phone number validation. Exactly 10 digits. You have, if minimum, say I want password to be minimum of 8 digits in length and maximum any number of digits. Minimum 8 digits, comma, maximum any number of digits. Here we are using dot as the meta character, so it will accept any character, special characters, underscore, whatever it is. So let's check this. SATISH TCHS, teachers, Satish teachers. So this is greater than 8. So text disqualifies. Why? Any issues here? Yes, there's an extra parenthesis. I think that's the issue. Maybe we'll give. So it matches any character, but it should be minimum. Teachers text qualifies. If it is less than 8 characters, say this is only 5, disqualifies. So how is that you perform that? Dot and any characters 8 comma means minimum 8, maximum anything. But you want to put a hold on the maximum 2, you can give 8 comma 16, whatever it is. So this is how they check for the password length validation. When I say minimum 8 characters password should be, so they just give dot 8 comma. So it takes anything greater than 8, but less than 8 is going to be a problem. Are you all clear with these notations? Can we go to the next thing? We have a few more concepts, then we'll wind up. So we are going to now understand concepts like this. See, if you go to any online tutorial, they just give n plus, n star, n question mark. What is the meaning of this? Say, plus means one or more characters. One or more characters. Star means zero or more characters of n. Question mark means zero or one character of n. What does that mean? Say, let me explain this. When I have SA plus, it means you search for an input that contains an S followed by one or more A's. So SA is acceptable. One or more. So SAA is acceptable. SAA is also acceptable. So what plus A here is, that is n plus. Here A is n, plus means one or more. So when you search for SA plus, all these things are valid inputs. Now we'll go to the result thing. The very first thing we did, right? We used, what is that we used? First we'll write the expression here. The expression is, I'm going to search for SA plus. There should be an S followed by one or more A's in your input. And what I will do here is I'll get all the resulting matches. Right? Result is equal to the very first thing we did, that is string dot match. We'll use the match function. We'll pass the regular expression as the input. And what is that we're going to check here? If result is not equal to null, we'll populate the inner HTML say with the result. What is that? The matches that's going to occur. Result. And I want to find all the matches. If I enter SA, SAA, everything should be found. So I'll make it global G, that is find all the matches and return. And here, if there is no match found, what we'll say is no match found. Oh, found. You all understood this, right? The very first method we have used, string dot match. We are passing the regular expression. What is the regular expression? SA plus. Let's take a look at this now. Take a look at the output. Say if I enter SA, because we have S followed by one or more A's. If I just give many inputs like SA, SAA, SAA, like that, all these are valid because one or more A's is acceptable after an S. That's the pattern I'm searching for. That's the meaning of plus, one A or more number of A's. But this is not acceptable. That is, if I have only an S, is this matching? No match found. Why? After an S, it is mandatory to have at least one A. That is the meaning of a plus. What is a star? Zero or more number of A's. So when you give a star here, that's how it is different. You match with S, SA, SAA, anything. So it can be zero or more occurrences of A. See, if I search for SA, it returns. If I search for S, returns because 0 or more occurrences of A with a star. So that's how SA plus is different from SA star. When I give S, SA, SAA, SAA, so it's going to have all these matches. So what is that we have given here? A star. 0 is also acceptable. So S followed by 0 occurrences of A is acceptable. There's one more final thing, SA question mark. What is the question mark performing here is 0 or 1 occurrence of A. So it'll accept 0 occurrence of A. Say if I have S, accepts. If I have SA, it's going to accept it. Are you clear with these things? What is a plus? What is a star? What is a question mark? Are you clear with this? Let's go to the final thing before we understand password validation. See, this password validation regular expression is available online in every place. You go to any online tutorials or platforms, that regular expression is given. But the explanation of the regular expression is absent from every place. Because I was trying to learn this for many months, I guess, what it does, how it does. But some way or somewhere, I think I have found the answer for that. So that's what I'm going to explain now. Let's see this. What is that we are going to take a look at is we're going to take a look at this particular notation called look ahead. Look ahead, or they call this positive look ahead assertion in regex or regular expressions. Let's see what is the use of this. I'll explain this here, very simple. If I have Satish brackets question mark equal to teachers. If I have this, what this does is it searches for this kind of a pattern. Whether there is a Satish and after Satish, it should be teachers. Teachers should follow Satish. When you encounter this string Satish, what should follow Satish is teachers. So it's going to check for that. So let's check for this pattern. Let's perform this. SATISH. So it's a question mark equal to teachers. So it's a look ahead. Once when it encounters Satish, from that point in time till the end of the string, it will search whether teachers is following Satish. So let's take a look at this. Say if I have Satish teachers. So teachers immediately follow Satish, right? So it should be a true. So we'll return true or false here. For this, let's not match the results like this. Let's not return an array. We'll go with our test method. We all know the test method, right? What is that? We'll directly give regular expression dot test and then we'll pass that string in text. So what is that we are checking? Whether Satish is being followed by teachers. If it is following, then it will return a true. And if it returns a true, we'll say text qualifies. Or else what we'll say? Text disqualifies. Okay. Are you clear here? So what will be the output when I give Satish teachers Java? Text disqualifies is coming. Why so? Any issue here? Regular expression dot test in text. Satish equals to teachers. Oh my god, why? Let me refresh this. I'm encountering some error. Text qualifies. So only thing I just gave a space. Question mark equal to space teachers. I'm not sure whether that is the error, but when I gave a space, it just qualifies, right? What is that we are checking here? Whether teachers is following Satish. That's it. If teachers is not following Satish, say Satish enjoys something like that. Teachers is not following Satish now. So what will be the output? Text disqualifies. So this they call it as positive look ahead assertion. Now there is a question. Satish and teachers is coming together. Satish teachers. So what is the output here? It's a true. So it says text qualifies. Satish Let's not worry about the grammar. Satish likes teachers, something like that. Let's not worry about the grammar here. What will be the output? Teachers is following Satish, but it's not immediately following Satish. So what will be the output here? Disqualifies. But I want to capture even this. Satish, there will be some characters, then teachers will be following, not global. So how you perform this is, now you're going to say there will be some characters, there can be 0 or more characters of this, then teachers will follow it. You understood this? So what is going to search for is, after Satish, any characters, 0 or more characters will be allowed. And then teachers can follow it. Now let's take at this output. Satish likes teachers. Text qualifies. That's because we are given the expression dot star. We say after Satish, there will be some characters, 0 or more characters following Satish. Then after that, teachers is going to come. What do you mean by 0 or more? Even if likes is not there, what will this return? Text qualifies. Because we are saying 0 or more of the characters. So there can be some characters in between, or there may not be any characters in between. Are you all clear with this? So what is this positive lookup assertion? From the place it will start, and then it will start searching the entire string. Now I will go to the next thing, that is, there's an opposite of this. Say for instance, the reverse of this is question mark exclamation. So when Satish is being followed by teachers, it will return a false. Is the reverse of that. So let's just have this Satish teachers. When Satish is followed by teachers, when I give an exclamation, it will be a reverse. So it will return a false. Text disqualifies. But did you all understand this? When this will return a true, Satish teachers, and what is that expression we have? Positive look ahead. So this is going to say text qualifies. Are you all with me? Now what is that I want to do is, I will ignore this Satish. I don't want this. Now whatever input the user gives, I want to search for a string. I want to search for a digit. How will I search for a digit? /d. And this digit can be in the beginning of the input, or it can be after a certain number of characters. So what is that you do? Dot star. Now what will be the output? Let's take a look at this. So if there is a digit in the beginning, text disqualifies. My God, there is some issue here. Let me take Satish and then, okay, text qualifies. So if I have it in the very beginning, let me refresh this. Let me check 5. Text qualifies. So I just need to refresh. I was a little shocked because when you give live code demos, we don't know what will go wrong, but I'm taking the risk of that. That's how we learn. Are you all clear with this? What is happening here? It starts searching from the beginning. You can have any number of characters, say Satish followed by a digit, or the digit can be in the beginning too. So like that, I can search for an uppercase or lowercase letter followed by characters or digits or anything, special characters. So now you know the entire password validation thing. So first I will be searching for a digit. Next I will be searching. So this is grouping, like this is one group. Like that I will be searching for lowercase to uppercase. I mean any uppercase letter is there. At least one uppercase letter is there. So that uppercase letter can be in the beginning of that password, or it can be after certain number of characters. Likewise, you can also search for lowercase a to z. You can also search for some special characters too, like you can give that in brackets. What are the special characters? It can be ash, exclamation, at. I'm just giving whatever characters I can remember. So we have certain characters, special characters. So we have a digit, we have a lowercase, we have an uppercase, we have special characters, minimum 8 digits in length. So we match any characters 8 comma. So that is the pattern. So did we really achieve this? So this is the pattern that we have some more ampersand, star, everything to be special characters. Maybe I'll copy the list of special characters here. Okay. So if there is in text, if this is true, then we'll say valid password. Now we'll come to password, right? So we'll say valid password, or else what is that we can say? Invalid password. So now let's take a look at our output. So you have SATISH, invalid password. 1 2 some digits are included, uppercase letter, special character, valid password. Finally, we have cracked that thing. Now still there is one check pending. If I have a space, what will happen? We are not checking for space here, right? The space is still a problem. So how to check for a space? We have a shorter version of doing that too, but let me have another regular expression, expression 1. Just for easier understanding, let's say this slash s for checking spaces. And what I will perform is I'll have this boolean flag, let valid to be, I think we'll just have valid. Say if it passes the first test, if it passes the first test, I will say valid to be true. Valid to be true. We'll have one more test here. That is, let me just have one more test. That is like the same thing. Like we'll have this. If regular expression 1 dot in text, if there is a white space, then it will return a true, right? Then I will say valid is false. If it is having a white space, I'll say it's not a valid password. So I'll set valid to be false. So when I'll type this messages, I'll be typing it here. If valid was only true, I'll occupy that document dot get element by ID. We'll populate the inner HTML, say valid password. Finally, we can have any number of checks. If it's still valid, we'll say it's valid. If valid was set to false, then what we'll do? Document dot get element by ID will access the inner HTML dot inner HTML is equal to invalid password. So you can have any series of checks. If one of the conditions fail, then it valid is false. So anyway, there can be variations to this. You can just use an AND operator. Within one simple if we can complete all these things. I'm just telling you how this works. Okay, let's take up Satish 1 2 hash a space s. What is this? Not even, there's an issue. This is return false. Why we are returning false here? We are returning something there. That might be an issue, I guess. We should not return anything there. Maybe we should return it from within an if statement. Return false. Why we are returning something there? I think that should be the issue. Return false. See, sometimes little. Let me check now. Satish 1 2 hash a valid password. So now let's check for the spaces too. If spaces exist, then we'll have, what is that we are going to have here is if regular expression 1 dot test, we'll test in the input text. If it's true, then what is that we are going to do is valid is equal to false. Valid will set to false. Now we'll run this. Let's check this. Satish 1 2 3 hash a space yes, invalid password. If I'm removing this space, valid password. Finally, That was one small error. I was returning true and false. So once when you return, there ends your method. The return goes, right? You return from the function. No other statement is going to execute. That was the issue. I myself fixed my issue. Are you clear with password validation? What is the regular expression behind this?